Right now, next up,
the Pit Life Comedy Podcast with Philip Anthony.
And you are not going to move.
Pain is temporary, but laughter is forever.
All right, everybody, welcome to Pit Life Comedy, where pain is temporary, but laughter is forever. My name is Philip Anthony. I'm your host for this show, and today we got a very special guest. He is not only the creator of Pit Life Comedy, but he's a comedian, a life coach, a career coach, and he owns a branch of Funny for Funds, a fundraising company with a comedy show kicker that has been raising millions and millions of dollars for all types of groups, causes, and organizations. Thank you for taking the time to sit with us today. Our guest today, again, the one and only. Yeah, we didn't have any budget. Give it up for Philip Anthony. Wait, whatever. Thank you for being with us today, Philip Anthony. We appreciate you taking the time to just sit and answer some questions that came from myself, from viewers, from friends, from comedians, and there's even one from your wife. So we appreciate you being here today. We hope that you can clear some questions up about what Pit Life Comedy is. And that gets us to our first question. What does Pit Life mean to you? Oh, this is cool. Thanks for having me. I get to lay on the couch like a real therapy session. All right, Doc, let's go. All right, I'm just kidding. You want me over here? Phil? All right, cool. That's a great question, Phil. What does Pit Life mean to me? I mean, it's not just a catchy slogan. It's real life, man. We all fall into the pits of life. Grief, pain, failure, loss, and how do we climb out of that? Humor's been my way of climbing out. Every time I made a joke about something, I climbed an inch. Little by little, those inches became miles. And that's why I was able to use humor to get through all these crazy times in my life, things that would literally have broken other people down. And I remember as far back as, I think I was 13 years old, and I heard the great George Carlin. He's right up there. He said, don't take life so seriously, because none of us get out of it alive. So when I heard him say that resonated with me, and it's something that stuck with me all my life, even to this day. I was 13. I'm now gonna be 53. So you're talking almost 40 years. Those words stuck with me and it meant something. And I hope that our viewers can understand that and use it. That's awesome. That's actually beautiful. I like that, man. You're gonna make me cry. So my next question is, can you tell us about a time where humor literally saved you from spiraling out and just losing it? A time when comedy literally saved me. Pick a trauma, any trauma, right? I mean, there's so many things I can think of, but I think, seriously, I can think again, going back to when I was 13 years old. Back in those days, my outlet was fighting. I used to be in school fighting, in the streets fighting, and it was my outlet. I had this tendency to just keep everything bottled up. I didn't share stuff with people. I didn't talk about any of the things I was going through. And so eventually it would all build up and I would explode and I would explode, and whoever was around me at that time, they were the ones that would get it. It would, I'm not saying I was right. It was definitely the wrong thing to do, but that's how I released my stress, was getting into those fights. At the age of 13, I went through some stuff at home. Big fight with my brother, even bigger fight with mom, and I couldn't get out. I couldn't go anywhere, and so I decided to explode on myself, and I went to the bathroom and I just started downing pills, and then came out. I was like, I don't feel anything. I went back in, took some more, and then mom came and she said, I'm going shopping and I'm taking your brother Angel with me. And I was like, take Eddie too. Eddie was my younger brother. He was 8 years younger than me, so he was 5 years old at the time. And she said, no, you stay here and watch your brother. And I was like, this is not good. I knew it wasn't good. And then she walked out, and she was walking out before she slammed the door. She said, "Come lock the door." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever." And I didn't say that because Mom would have kicked my ass. But when the door slammed, I was laying on her bed. My little brother was sitting on the other side. And I got up to walk to the door. When I stood up, I'm gonna tell you, I felt like my head was about to hit the ceiling. But when I went to put my foot down, I came down like a ton of bricks, man. And when I had to climb back onto the bed, and when I climbed and I got my head over the bed and I saw my little brother, the look of fear on his face, and he was like, "Philip, what's wrong?" It just, that's what saved my life, man. And I had to call 911 myself, and I called them, and they came, and I think it was that time that like I was like, you know what, I'm not taking life very seriously anymore. Ever since that experience, I learned not to take life so seriously, because none of us are gonna get out of it alive. And from then on, humor was my way. It was my way to talk about things, to say things that I previously wouldn't have shared or said. And I said it in a fun way and was able to share it. I never knew I was gonna end up being a comedian, but I knew laughing was my way. This came from one of our followers on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram. Thank you for following us. Please share, let people know about this. You never know who needs to hear this stuff. So this next question number 3 is, how did you flip the script from pain to power with comedy? How did I flip the script from pain to power with comedy? It was a long transition, because I've been doing comedy for quite some time, and I had similar goals like other comedians. When we start out, I want to be on the big stages. I want to do all the top comedy clubs, and it wasn't until maybe 5 years in, maybe a little longer, when I started with Funny for Funds and started realizing how rewarding it was to do a comedy show for a bunch of people, and then turn around this big check and show that we've helped somebody. We helped a person, a family, an organization, a team. And that was so much more rewarding than the comedy clubs, because you still got hundreds of people in front of you, and you're still making the entire room laugh. But at the end of that, it's like, here's what we did for you guys. And that's when it started to pivot. I started to say, hey, comedy's my superpower. I want to use my powers for good. And that's what I did. And then I saw a comedian named Michael Jr. And he added an additional perspective to that, where he said that he pivoted, he made a change in his comedy from wanting to make people laugh, right? Which was about him being funny, to giving everyone an opportunity to laugh. And that resonated with me so much, because I was thinking at that point already, I know people go through stuff, and I was already with that mindset that there's people in the audience that came out because they love to laugh and they just want to laugh. But there's people in the audience that came out because they're going through something. And maybe they're going through it quietly like I used to. But those people, they need to laugh. And those are the people I'm talking to all the time. Yes, everyone else, but them. Because they need it. They need it. And that's why I do what I do. And I've crafted my set and the things I talk about to lean into those people and kind of speak to them indirectly. And sometimes they come up to me after the show and say thank you and tell me why, tell me what they're going through. Some of them, just come next to me and go, hey, thanks. And I already know. And some of them don't come up to me at all. But I just hope they heard me, because I know they need it. Right? This guy has all the answers, right? So this next question came from a comedian. He's pretty new to the scene, but he's working very hard at the craft, and he appreciates your style of comedy. So he wants to know, how do you balance being funny, being real, and still being respectful, so you can do adult, clean shows? How do you transfer all that and translate it on stage? How do I balance being funny and respectful and clean and adult at the same time. It's simple. It's simple. We're all adults. We know about everything, right? We all know the same things. If you're talking about sex and relationships, like we all know what it is, but we don't have to say all of the words. You know what I mean? Like, I remember doing a show with a comedian named Dick Doherty out of Worcester. He's a Worcester comedy legend. The man had been doing comedy at about 50 years when I met him. And I was on a show with him, and I was dying to meet him because I heard about him. And I asked the promoter, hey, where is he? And he's like, he's sitting over there. When I looked, he was sitting alone. And I'm like, why is there so many young comedians here? Why is nobody talking to this guy? So I went and I sat with him. And I remember sitting with him there, and there was a comedian on stage, and the comedian was cursing, and he just made a noise. He's like, ugh. And I'm like, you don't curse when you're on stage? And he goes, no, I curse. But I got a rule when I'm doing comedy. Because I don't want to be vulgar, he said. He said, if I'm talking about sex, I'm never cursing. And if I'm cursing, I'm not talking about sex. And that stuck with me. That was the nugget. That was the one. Like if I'm sitting with anybody I want to learn from, I don't gotta remember everything they said. I don't gotta remember every single word. I don't gotta apply everything that I heard. But if I get one thing that I could use to make me better, I'm gonna lock onto it. And that was one that I felt. And I was like, wow. So after that show that night, I went home. The next day, I'm like going through my set. And I realized that I was already doing that. I was already writing that way. I don't know what made me do it. It's just who I was. And so the only difference is now, everything I wrote after that, I wrote deliberately that way. I wrote it intentionally that way. So yeah, you can talk about sex, you can talk about anything in a show. You just don't have to say the words. You can make people paint those pictures in their mind. We're all adults. We know what it is. You don't gotta say all the D words and the BJs. You don't gotta say all that, man. Just paint a good picture. They'll play the movie in their head. And you know what? Sometimes they play it in their head even funnier than you wrote it. And they're laughing harder than you even thought they would. So don't be afraid to paint the picture. Let them they'll get it. They'll get it. You don't have to be nasty and vulgar. A lot of young comedians go right out there for that shock comedy. And you know what? There's comedians out there to get that and do that. But those comedians, it takes years for them to build to that. They don't just come out day one and be like, blah. It's work. And so, yeah, if you want to get to that, work to that, fine. But if you want to get into more rooms, you want to get on more stages, and you want to get in front of more people that get you, be more creative, and find other ways to say the things that people are okay with hearing, but they don't want to hear it like that. I mean, that's my advice. That's really cool. I didn't know that. I did. So you're a career coach. You train IT professionals. You are a comedian, a speaker. You help people raise money, all types of groups, causes, and organizations. How does it all tie into Pit Life? Damn, I wear all those hats. Career coach, IT guy, yeah. So how it all fits into Pit Life is just, it's like everything I do, I talk about to everybody, right? It's the message, okay? There's no other form of promotion that's better than word of mouth, right? And so every time I'm talking to somebody, I'm mentioning the things I do. I'm talking about Tech Foundry and me being a career coach and helping people get into these IT careers that makes a lot of money. I talk about Funny for Funds, how I help people raise money through comedy shows, and we've been doing it since 2014, and we're over $11.6 million raised. I talk about that all the time. And then when I'm on stage, I talk about my painful moments. I share how some of this tough stuff that I've been through, whether it be losing a loved one, whether it be getting 10 overdraft fees like being broke, bad relationships. I talk about all those things, and it's just stuff that I've been through. And I'm able to talk about it in a funny way and laugh at it. Two things happen. One, those moments that were tough for me, they're not tough anymore because now they're my best jokes. Two, anybody in that audience who's been through it, they're laughing at it now too. That's what pit life is. Finding those painful moments and finding the humor that now makes that a funny memory. Because it was a tough moment in life that tried to take me out, but it didn't. And now I can laugh at it. And I believe that once you get back to laughing, you get back to living life in your own terms. That's what started pit life. Question number 6, I think we all want to know, have you ever felt like giving up? And how did you push through? Have you ever felt like giving up? Who hasn't? I felt like giving up recording this video. All these different sounds coming through. I don't got enough soundproof in here. I turned off the central air and I'm still hearing stuff. I had the fire alarm beeping. I got motorcycles outside. I felt like giving up, but I pushed through because I know that you needed to hear some of these words, and I'm hoping that you are listening. And if it's not you, share with somebody who needs to hear it, man. This is all real stuff, man. It's real stuff, and it's a mindset that you can flip, man. And maybe you can do it right away. Maybe it'll take time. It takes practice, making it a habit, and just finding things to laugh at. I mean, even in traffic, you could be in traffic, somebody cuts me off. I used to flip out. I used to wish I was a cop for that moment so I could pull them over, and I don't know, I don't know. Now I just think of something funny. They cut me off, and I'm like, he got to poop real bad. Like, I don't know. I just think like we don't know he's going through it, and then I think I hope it's nothing bad. I hope it's not an emergency. And I'm just getting angry because they're speeding and cutting me off, but they could be going through something. So I try to always assume positive intent because people are good. Yeah, we got a lot of people who are hurt, but for the most part, people are good people, man. I like to believe that. I like to, no matter what, believe that people are good, and that helps me, get through stuff. That helps me push through. That's important for people to know. You heard that? You heard that? All right, cool. This next question comes from your wife, and she says, other than the day you were born, what's the ugliest moment that you were able to turn into your funniest story? That's messed up. No, really, that's messed up. Wow, my wife said, what? Damn, the ugliest moment, man. I mean, I could talk about, one of the toughest relationships I've ever been in where I thought I was crazy in love with this person. And I think it was a mindset thing because people always tell you that relationships are hard. They're a lot of work. And so if you're not arguing, then you don't love each other. And I believe that so much that the more I argue with somebody, I thought the more they love me and the more I love them. And I realize now that's bullshit. Sorry. It is because right now I'm in like going on my 8th year of marriage. I've never even considered proposing to anybody or getting that serious. As a matter of fact, when I met my wife, I had given up on relationships altogether. I met her at a time where I done gave up. I didn't have a list of things I was looking for in a woman. I had a list of things I didn't want in my life anymore. And she didn't have any of those things. So I think back, my first joke ever was a tough relationship I was going through. And it was the breakup, the last breakup. And I told her, yo, just get out, go back to live with your mom, get out of my house. You know what, I don't care what you take, just go. And I came home that day from work, and in the 4 years we were together, that was the first time she ever listened to me. She took everything, like she took it all. And that ended up being the first joke I ever told on stage. I didn't know what to say. They threw me on stage. I never even thought I was going to go on stage that night. I thought I was going to watch this show. And Freddie Ricks, comedian out of New York, threw me on stage, said, get up here, man. So I just told that story and I got laughs. And I realized I don't gotta write jokes. Life writes them for you. So I started to dig. And all these life experiences come up and the perspective changes. And I found the humor. So I guess those are the ugly moments. All right, we're almost to the end. Question number 9. What's one misconception that people have about you that's wrong? One misconception people have about me? I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest. I used to care what people thought about me. I don't anymore. It's not, what people think about you is none of your business, right? I mean, I'd like to think that people respect me because I respect everyone. I like to think that they appreciate some of the things I do and the things I try to do. But I guess one of the misconceptions I could think of off the top of my head right now is I'm always one that loves to help people. And that's what I do. Everything I do is in the service of others. Everything I get paid for is in the service of others. So when I meet younger comics, I try to guide them. I share stuff with them. I talk to them, and you know, some people will take it. I'll tell you this: the people who've listened to things I said and did like I did, and not take everything, find one nugget of the things I said and was able to use that. Those comedians are doing better. Some of them have quit their jobs and are doing comedy full time. Others have taken it as arrogant. Said, oh, this guy, he thinks he's better than everybody. He thinks this. I don't think I'm better than it. And I don't care to be better than anybody. My only competition is me. I just want to be better than I was the last time I was on stage. The last time I did whatever it is I'm doing today. I want to be better when I do it tomorrow. That's it. So my competition is only me. But I think if there's anything that I would say would be that you know, some people can claim to think I was arrogant. I thought I was better than anybody. No, I'm never like that. No, I don't believe in that. All right, this is the last question. I think this is the one that's going to tie it all in for everyone who's tuned in. Thank you for tuning in and staying to the end of this episode. Hopefully it helps you or someone you know. Please share it. You never know who needs to hear the words. But thank you. Thank you for joining us here at Pit Life Comedy. So this last question, Philip, is for anyone who's in their pit right now, what would be your message to them? Wow, for someone stuck in their pit right now, what's the message I give them? First of all, you're not alone. You're not alone. Trust me, either we're in the pit with you or we've been in that pit. You're not the only one going through it. We've all lost a loved one. We've all lost a job. We lost a home. We lost a car. We lost a pet. We lost, I didn't, but I've had friends who lost children. And no one, friends who lost partners, their wives and husbands, no one is going to tell you, hey, it's going to get better. Well, no one can tell you that. But you have to make that decision. For whatever reason, if it's for you, it's for kids or family, you still have to keep going for. Whatever the reason is, you have to tell yourself. And just know that you'll get through it. You will get through it. I'm going to have people come on this show and share those experiences with you because some of them I can't talk to, right? I can't talk about. And not because I don't know about it, because genuinely I didn't go through that. So I don't want to be disingenuous and be like, oh yeah, no. I want you to hear it from other people. But I'll tell you, you're not alone, okay? Catch your breath. Feel your feels. It's okay to feel your feels. It's okay to cry. It's okay to do whatever you got to do, right? But when you're in them feelings, don't live there. Don't build a house there. Get out, climb out, inch by inch, little by little. Know that it's gonna get better. Know that. Make sure you believe it. Okay? Tell yourself that. Right? I always tell people, be careful what you tell yourself because you're the one you believe the most. tell yourself those good things. And if you need a chat, I'm always here to chat. Reach out to me. You got me on social media. I'm always happy to chat with people. I care. I don't care. I do care, and that's why. But that's your first step. That's your first step out. And just like the show, remember, pain is temporary, but laughter is forever. That's what I would tell somebody. You heard it, right? You said it. You're gonna say it again right after I said it. Pain is temporary, laughter is forever. That's what I'll tell somebody in their pit right now. Thanks for having me on the show, man. This is really cool. I can't wait to see what comes next. And that, my friends, is Pit Life. My scars, my life, my laughs, and hopefully yours too. Next episode, we'll bring on a guest with their own pit to power journey. Until then, keep climbing and keep laughing.
Right now, next up, the Pit Life Comedy Podcast with Philip Anthony.
And you are not going to move.
Pain is temporary, but laughter is forever.